رابط غداين ميقراثم يقرأ تهديت لخا وقبلنا شتا يقارئ ليورا قد فيلم قبل خبشينا غدام يقرتا وأرخي تهديرنا إن من قم شارخ مخوب طلب من دفران شتابوتا طريتا وستليتا دكتور بن داود اتباقت لخا وقابل له مشينا دكتور
السلام عليكم. تلاقي شمية بين داود عامل دفران شتابوتا في إسرائيل. شانتي كلهم أجلسوا تخي قارئ جورا لقاتا قد بغزايا خايكين شلخا قلت نورا وأرخى مخبة وهداما كل حاضرين لخا أجلسوا أجد ميقرانينوس بروبلم إن قد ودخل حوش هي جمعية السلطة
قالوا مهنية أنا أتخيل لا واحد بيت شمخ قالوا مهنية
فقد ميقرانينوس بروبلم إن قد ودخل هاست أي جمعية السلطة إذا لا مقبلة شتاب بسبب وزيرا قد أيت خطأ سلطة السلطة كمان ديان قارتس ديان قد حيوان الجرأة قد آجي من جانب وجوه قاتل من تيت الرواية في يوم تجدان قد تخريب من إجماع قامت أبدا ما نشيط عن ديان قد أنجي أبدا الجرأة رغم ذلك وقد أرسلت بينا قال كلنا قد أتوقع جمع مضارع وخدشة يوشك وخيطة تسميات الرياض كان أخي ورسالة رابط يا لبناني يا مساعد رابط شيخنا بيارو خدشة وشيات الجرأة وكل ستة قد مارسين يعني وديقو إن يشكر خلا متبرسة بتاويلا قد أشوف هذا اللقامة زرت تيتخ إلى خا باصل تقامته خمسة باصل تقامته وأنا منخ إلى خا مدي encouraging خستي براوي قلت شغلت قد Assyrian Arts Institution في شرمتها سبب بيولا خا فرصة قد identity ديان هم شخا مخلا it's very important قد أخنا لا مشخ يعني سبب بدنا أطروات خدشة مبيخين لا بيخين لا تيجي برخ يعني خدشة بشارع سو هاد فرصة قيماني جاي شكل خلو وتخيم الرن أواي ودم بس ماسخ من تي ياو وإذا بس أنت راب اللي استكتش قلته خاصة ويجبرت له قاسم خامدي كريتا أنا همزة من كريتا بتشوتا فوتا رغم من الفلسفيين لخا هي طيلة أو شوتا فوتا هنا شوتا فوتا شو تستري شيء أكبر سما اشتيتصا هل من دوي مقامها يا تير شو تستهم ما شجربت لها هي رقا ناشدية أما شخطة ما قلتنا بتاعي في شيء قلت شوية بتاعي خيو ليت اشتيه واللي شويه خدش خوائنا شوتا فوتا كليل الأقل وغير قرابة ناشي أقتيل ضانا قم هاويلا مطرشياته هدية أوي خخينة باس خورا وأنا سياق الخمشيش إن مدرسة دقلة لشان أطرايا أي مدرسة الشريوخ اتولن خا أوان السورة جودية أرار تيكا تمزنا خدشة ودنا اتولن بيجي خليطة خا 15 سولاي تيلو شوريا خاضنا اتولن بيكد 4 سولاي يوم مدرسة اتولن طلع مدرسيات من تيتا لقي كلها سبدية أسكولان لنا رابع من سبب إتلام مدرسات خينة نبية بس خبرت لنا أوفيشال مدرسات مدرسة ربان هرمس إلى ريكونا سكول هذا مرنا سيكولوج شوف من فولنتير مدرسات نبية في شبيل بأمرار إذا هدية أخنا أخشي مرخطة في المدرسة نقول تريد في مدرسات لأن نصلي لنا أخنا خديم بيه سبب أسكولان خينة بس كان أهل بيشان بياكنا هي خامدي أنا قاعد خزي خار من شارتها أن خمشيش إني أخنا ناشوا شو دخله ومديت يوم ربع قاعد ضامن جيوا إنه مش خطة يمر خالو helping warfare ولا خالو هي الخالو هل يجي بيخطة هيك جرش لقد أخنا ما خشولة رابستاين قمنا recognize قم يقولن خا grants وجراند من شيء 84 أخي مبلغ لي هي كان أوفيس جانا فول تايم فلاخي بارت تايم فلاخي ودارا بعد ميوقرت أي أسين رسول سنة توتل أمان ميوقرت كارمن يتخي خيجي مسقدنا هنا أمبوز ديا في جاي مش ميالي هنا يلا خشوا رابس باي رابا خدي حكم خدي منا because شو لنا هذا رابس باي but otherwise جلدي جرانديان تبشقيه ويتكبرخ برانش خينه ملت خينه ياخذ تكبر تدين سبخات خا والقزه وخمنتيه وبيو اتلان رابي نمر سيمون سكورشيب رابي نمر سيمون بيشتي لخا المنفلد بشان شي 85 85 تيلي يقول اللكتشس قرابيا ان رابيا مقربه مدرسة قام قارخ بلاد الشتن قد آتي لخا ويولو لكشرز فقايقار دي متينا خا سكولرشيب أي سكولرشيب يخلق هاي سكول جراجويت فرقة بياز بالصوبة كوليج يونيفرسيتيز يمتينا يخا انكارجمنت قاتي أخم بغزايا قد بريشايت أن صراحة 15 خراج أنا متبايا إني يعني بنادي إن ربا براود قد أمني بشقالنا سبراش إن قد كوميونيتي يشوق إلى الله يعني ليلة شفت بريش خنات خب زنايد بكليل خمدي يورا إن self belonging إذا بضايا قد مننا إذا قاتي ربا satisfying من جوايا أنا بتخاني قلت أنا تارشو يونيفرسيتي أخشان بنوشنو يونيفرسيتي كنت أطراحين إن هذه تشود وقت بالفايتين so أجي إلى خمدي شوت أبو تيو داره شيت بشيت من شيت 85 أخنا project فيديو ومدخلت أخرا لي خزخل الآن قاعد يجي خمدي كتاب history دي أو culture دي اتوالن خالد رأي أدب شمت عاشق باني بدلا خالد نخدش مكليالا سبب ليتوالد ما إن أنا طلاقش نخرايا أي بس مثل خدش مفولنتي سرابس ماي وتكون جرأتي قد شكيلنا تاس عليه وجمهور اختاره قد كل بكتير فرصة موضوع اختاره لخبطة جمهور اختاره تنخشبات أمر الخدمة تاعته شغل اختاره قاري إن هي تخمن تجي إتلان قد أدخله إن هذه جمهور اختاره وادو ديجيتلايز قد ناشي ماسي خزير خنا السوشيال ميديا لو وإنترنت لو أن مديانة بويلو خدشوش شورا هذا سؤال شورا هاي باسي ما خدش مبناتي دون لخ خطرت منه أنا نقلها شوشا للا ولمبرزاخينا anyway بناتي قلت له صيتها وقلت له جرأت وقلت له خبط ولي لو شورا يعني خشورا بجبار لي هذا أخذت نجي برسقالت إلى من 80 شوريا أول شيء هذه بداية أهوت إلى سوشيال ميديا لو شغل فوق البودكاست ويدخل فيسبوك له وواتساب له أنه مليان أنا الكيرا نسيانا بيه من نقل نزيد آخر يوم من old fashioned people anyway so أنا مليان كل شو لابوتا شو لابو إتلان أوبرجي بوجود بيخو دخله إلى قد إتلان خبنيانا تيقى لخبر خاصة أو في شكل خله تلخص له معي وبان خابنيانا خاتقد ودخل كوميديا جاو بيتت أقلا يعني بيتت أقلية إتلان بيتت خا ما يرسوي طالي صخر من الأخا أتصي 5 يوم من هنا يالو بنات الدينا أطراي سو بانخلو خسامة وأوفيس تخما ARC ما يخلى لخا تابي أوفيسي تابعاً library أي ماسخ ناشي ماسيات يشوفي library وقارين شيء كتابتي للوضع. فأنا project اتخاذ الكل هنا في شوية أرخد فولنتين سلبت خنا زنا ديال ما شافوا زوج خريجته من الجرانتي إلى الخانة إلى إيش خمنا هاك ليش يعقد كل إنا أتجو ما إنا فولنتينز أنا أو هاقت خخي خكوني شغلة يوم الليلة هاك أختي أخينا خسنت petrol expenses اللي أنا يعني هاي بسيم كل عشرة وديه خا أنا بدان شيء سويش توادتن قليامش إبك والبينا عائلة خا good way of identification دي إن أنا تمنخن يومش شوية شو تبغى في اشتريت شتى قد هذا خزة خبلاي القليامش إبك يو طالبني لوكال يو خدوك تيجي إلى أشفيلد قرب نيوزيلندا أشفيلد هاي سكول وهذا درامة إبك في شوية so the only two Assyrian يتامى أنا خا بقرا خيانتي وخشم شو دافوتا هنا يشوف والله كل مخراينا الصناعي هنا وهذا خدرامة إلى بيت القمصرات وماشي BCB هنا منظر قد داخل culture ديان إتلي شوفه ملتي فيه ليه مريخنا الله سبب كلنا بسبارخ شمخ هذا يقطعون هذا بسيم خيّتي تنسيه أو فيش أدري جودولا شال كيش وأنا يعني ومن خارج شولت إلى الدقيقة هذا خذ مطلوب لفن كمان تنتظرانه أيوة ordered house من دخينا النمشات عمشي من دخيناس بسيم الله ينسى الزاشون.
Thank you. خدشة بكت مزيدا الهمزمة دكتور من بالنسبة الشتاقوتا خدشة مودستي و همزمتو but achievements الشتاقوتا أختي قانسيانوخن أرخن مقبل أختوروخن غزيلوخن عجورتا على برخاص وإيتن ساكا بلاي ستاديوم ويدا وإيتن رابا مدياني إيمان بيلو بانيلا أها بنيانا متى شمة بتسماخت ننوي members of the central committee بيلو شكلي دينا من بنجا it was too risky loan من رجالك متيتم بتواتوخن as a guarantor they took that risk من سبب أني ناشئ هيمانوتي قا جمعت أمتن وملتن بلها دكتا was above and beyond their individual ambition. إيجا متيرون البتواتي as guarantor قد ما تشكلي لدينا ومبنين عندها بنيانا شاكيرا. ونبيتون جي تري شوية جدباتي خانينين وخامشة هي خائرها قرب لك تحازو تحاخو وعدو السبلان كمدي يمدر شو تفوتا بدنا أبلاي تتمتي تريش معنا تريش بلدية قولت إيه شمع عشر شمع نبي وشوف من achievement خينة إيه إذا شو تفوتا عالي قارنا يعني كل إقارة كل شرفيات خينة يمن شو تفوتا يعني دينا بليخة من جلد الشاعر وأحسب من خير يعني أنا من لا متخرر وقت لا متخرر أمي قارة أيدي متخرر دكتور بن أيدي ميقارتها نورا قريلة قاتن عندو أمريكا يقولها نورا نورا بتايخ أربع خمشة مانا بيشركو سيدني مخوبا شكلن آها برسات اتبقا بيت حكمة من أومانة اتلوخون حكمة من برسوبة عاودة و بهاي خبرشت شابرتها تخزنوهم زمن مني خيزت خناشت أزل صيدا وجارب السيادة بي الصيدا بي صيدا أومانة دي إنا تخمني أنا مري لا أختي عين أختي قمولا هاميلا برسوبة خاماتي سمزودة برسوبة خيني قد آتي عودة وخابوطة مري قد آتي ومشمي إلخ وشكلي خايطرانا ين الهمزمياتخ جو انت أطوريتا إتلن جو أمريكا جو إنجلند جو أستراليا جو يوروب رابا ناشي إتنا منتية جو أمريكا إتن ناسا ساينتستس إتلن بروفيسورز إتلن big contractors billions of dollars builders and all that إنا because of their circumstance أي كنايوتا قيمنا جو خمغدورة يعني environment اتلتوا أطوراي أرزباني لتوا خزمان وناشي يقاني وقيمنا خكما من السكند جنريشن يما بكت ينبابيوي أنا أمريكاية ينجسناية ينصلاية ورفقا من شداقوتا إجا إيش شلتا سيصورة الأطورة قطيالي إنا أمر خيا جاني آني برسوبة بس ما جانت كتشيخنا وبليخنا to achieve قد ماضي أو دي سعرانا شاكر يخيوتين إنا هرقيدانا إيتن برسوبة منتينا جو أنتن أطوريتا إنا إتلوخا priority يخيوتين إلى serving the Assyrian nation وكي جربي قد خسامة من wealth دية knowledge دية مقرويلة قا يترانا بهيدا إت أمتي وخمنا إلى ميقرطوخن يقطع نورا تلاشك همونا خسامة يورا من قريم الخامن دي سورة بود achievements دي يخو مودة وطا وخنات حمزة بتبزودة بخيك من دانا ملياني إنا إيوا قاتن أخ أطوراي جارك evaluate مطي منخ برسوبة أخديخ ورابا برسوبة خينين قد بلاخنا خنيشة غيرتها ترميات بروجكتس قيتران انت أختي خمدي من مخليطة عم يقرت نورا تينا يمو يقرت سوزان بتيوسف أو خاتو ننت أم جورو ينبر زوجو يقرأ أليكس مالك أشبه مدنوخا يقرأ أليكس إلى بانك دكتور بن إلى خا دنتست رابا رشايو ويتلقاته بالخانة وفهم دي إنا بليخة لتأثري خمشاشن لتأثرين أيد سوسايتي جو أمريكا بليخة لتشيوتا ويدر رابا بالخانة قاته هذه شديدة ريتاير إلى إنا بانيتله روخة متنتقى بالخانة من كم شارخ وطلبخ من يقرتها نورا تاقدا يوهم زمتو بينها قنو خمديرا وسورة شيت تري البي وخاطري البوتري اختخرتها ربا من نوخن بكي تاخر channel 31 Assyrian TV اتوالا من خطة وبيت يقرأ سالم نيسن أنا يونخا بريزنتر جاو عم ناخد ملسن كي مقروب خيومتي له الاستوديو ديان خيال أمرئي وأطراشني عن بابي تولا ودنا انترفيو مني انترفيو موديوا مارا وقابنا عمان شماني وكشخاني قد بروني إلى جو correct me if I'm wrong بروني إلى جو Sydney Children Choir ين Australian Children Choir بوف او بخاشوا مريوزوا قد آزيوا قفينا جروب قد أودي rehearsals ين interaction من the Vienna Children Orchestra which is one of the most famous choir eating الدنيا لا orchestra مخلطة choir إجا like appeal iwa قبني عمان هيريوا إجي جبرخت ديت فقطة مري قالي هديه زمرتان he was 9 اتشاشن نواتخا دزوتا with all confidence اتخشي وقانا اتشاشن مري ما زمرت مري of course hey ما سنتن خملا مري ما زمرت مري زمرن وازو لكن من خلينا شميو يعني إلى أزمرت رابا تنتنين على خان أين شابيرة هوشا أوي واز خميني إلى traditional يوباليتا زمرتها يوباليتا زميرالي بخابص لرابا شابيرة أيضا أنا مري دزوتا يالا بتجروز وبتهابي خميني ورشني جروس لا ويالا ورا سيدني conservatorium of music بقراءة classical singing وبرقالي وإلى counter tenor هدية احنا شمي tenor إنا موديلا counter tenor قد مبرم لهم موديلا بتطلبنا يقرأ روبرت باقت لخا وحبزم لهم دائما دي وخرطة زي مطماز خودخ فاشيك أكلتني على الميكروفون يا
Hello, Robert. Thank you, Ninos. So countertenor, what it is a male falsetto. So they call male high voice. So if you go the voice breaks. That there's the falsetto. So basically, it is a developed falsetto. So instead of slowly you practice. Slowly comes out. So yeah.
A simple thing.
Yeah, it's pretty simple.
Ina Akhtiamri, he is our form of classical music and singing. It's a bit complicated. لا كل خماسة أودية.
You can learn it, but it takes time. Yeah, it takes time. And the voice needs the muscles.
ولا تخرت لازم مرتد وازو. Bravo Spike. Unfortunately, companion dio on stage lela khalalita لا ما فيها بيانو إنا طلبني من المريموس زمرت خزمرتها قلت يقرأ روبرت بيش لخيزة يقنتا من Assyrian Aid Society ودون مسابتانيا قمترشني وزمرخ هذا زمريات كلاسيكا أنطوراي شابير وسوداني إذا جبت زمر قالوخون بقصة ستايل زمردية زمرت أين شطرانة ويليام أشريمو بتشمول لكن رابا منوخن شمينا يعني شامينا بوش بيطيقنا خمس مرات رابا مخبئة جبت زمر 2 verses تريب حاسوق مني الناس بالزودة طننا من تخينا شقخت 2 verses إجا شكورا عطولكم بس معلوخ مش ميلان قالوخ مهنيانا وأرخد زمارة بريشة.
Thank you.
بخيار هاي نقش ترانه مسا منطل دمي خشانه موماس النودر دمي كربانه موماس النودر زلون كربانه تاخر بين خربي صابنا خياني يومنا خلبي لا مشبد غناني تاخر بين خربي صابنا خياني يومنا خلبي لا مشبد غناني شخول من يوماني خيخ قد يرخي لوين بيايا داي نختخ باخي بتموت ספנך גני, יומנך ליבי, למה שפדרנני, תחר מן קורבי, ספנך גני, יומנך ליבי, למה שפדרנני.
يقول أستراليا إتلن تالنتس إتلن تالنتس مصيانة ودينا جربة وبتيخة قد ماضي الخا شوية خلف الله وإقارة لقاتل نزلت من يوم قام آيات نري بهاي كم خدانا نقرأ روبرت درة من إيطالي أكتبين مدن نقرأ روبرت زميرة لأوبرا هاوس أم جروب سخينة زمارة خينة موسيقى موضة وفيش نبيه جودا community classical community music إجارة ضمنية وإقارة لقاتل فكان ضمن هذه قد مشميخ على ميقرة نورا سيبين ممكن ثمني إيمن أرقى نورا نظامته شانس أرقصة أبقى إيمن أرقى نورا نظامته إتنا خطنا presentations مقرويانته رابا مقرتها بنتي وثاما وبرها أخبرت لا ما سختم لي شقال جوالته يا عمو وبرتيتم بالزود الختم ناشا إن هذه اللي وقارة بكت ما صيتن أختي لك شيء تلخا بقريت إنه صرت بيتا topic ديو
أنا نورا بيتيوسف ليسي رابا تنانتد منتن من كلهم نيقرانينوس دكتور family أخنوخن دا عادية إيتون my friend قد تيتون لخا قد مني قليبتون هم زمان أنا هم زمان أمني بخشابن قالي هم زمان إن الرابع اللي بيطلبني قد أهوية interactive قد هم زمتو يا إجرت قد أنا بهم زمان أخنوخن إتلوخن بقريات بقري تلون أنا إن أمسن جوابنون خناتيق من خد جيبا خيت الدنيا لخك بداين قد بايتون بوشرا باياتيتون بود سرايد أمريكا كت بقارد إتلوخون بليز بقرون مدري عبيتون باسيم لختون بداين ويك ديلي بليختون كلوخون so أنا نورا أنا إيفان براتد أبي مال بيتيوسف من سوزي بيتيوسف مامي لخلا بابي منيخلي خاتي من جورود لخنا أبي باسيمه أثناء بريق أنا بريتنج أبادان إيران 15 شنيبة إمتيلي أمريكا كمدرسة إتخنا تشلن أغرب سراغتينا بيشنا أنا really biological science و business administration university إجسر شنيبة جبريك خا أرز سورة تربنات إتلي قد عديد خبرات خانابكت إتلي ترشنونا قد كتانيالي نانا so I'm very proud of that إتا حين عادي مدري جبري روبيري كجوري قاماير جبري إمت أربي خاشي تيبا قد love of my life كتاني إتا عاديات خينات أبشويكلت أنا من كلبتي أتين لخا كخابكيشن ودوست خزمان خزخنون وبغدايك لخخ anyway أنا مدرسة كت بركالي جو process المدرسة بقت جبري خرطة داخلنا روبيلي يعني مجبور بيلي بالخنبة چون تري بنات توالي يعني جرب سنبالون رابع جلد ديلي قد باین بزنس گانی عبیلی especially ایمد خد يما بخانة ليلة بعد من يسورو مري إن أدخلت I want to make as much money as possible كتاني in separate بيتن من بناتي so business جاني شرياري biotechnology چون درسي قدام ديبا biotechnology company قد أنا شتسالي in 1994 شموي the Cellmark Corporation IVAD احنا زاروزوفا product for cancer detection أنا كاستشيشنة company شوريالي developidali خاطر الزبداني Sigma كإلى division of Merck Pharmaceutical Merck إلى second biggest pharmaceutical in the world. So I'm very proud of that accomplishment. چون پلاخی اصلا opportunity تازه مچفون از پر اوریگیو company بوجدور تا من Cellmark. خامنی من Cellmark تري مليار من Cellmark أنا لبلي خدنا إيبا قد إيمد أنا company مقدورم قد cancer product زاروزلا I have to be perfectionist. چون there is zero opportunity یا zero chance قد أنا یا پلاخی خم mistake اودی چون mistake اخنان اودخله کم سایق نشد قطلا. So I became very perfectionist. Just going through that process. Second, أنا لبلي مجر organization مثلا. How to interview, how to bring the right people on board, how to manage an organization كتاني. Any ترمنديانة قد أنا لبلي قد to be perfectionist and put an organization together. عدي بغزاين قد قاموا على قديم متلا جدا أورخا. بتخار 2014 إذا August, summer of قديم summer right of 2014 company Rob spy شولان بعد we had a contract one of the biggest contract باخو sign ودخواله حاجة زيلي قد مندي ISIS شوريلا مخايا السوراي ريشي برامو خجل من ديانا بعد قد أصلا كل الدنيا بيشتغل معتا قد أنا مجرتين how dare they do what they do. I was in the middle of negotiating a very big contract for the company. أصلا لا بوشيخنا تخمنبا on company, a contract. And I'm responsible for my employees, their families, their paycheck, and so I was very, very, emotional about this.
Yeah, I think we all were. Sorry to cut you off, but this is meant to be interactive, right?
Yeah.
At that time when ISIS happened, I think the entire Assyrian community felt it.
Of course.
Very hard.
Of course, that's not only us, the whole world was in shock that where they came from, and including myself. But everybody has a life, and the life of ours was disrupted. And I'm just telling my story. That my story was that I was in the middle of making a very sensitive commitment toward cancer patients and products that detect cancer. So I still take that very seriously. To make the long story short, I prayed because I was very, disrupted because of that situation. I said, God, what do you want me to do? Because I usually talk to God a lot whenever I need guidance. I said, whatever you want me to do in this situation, just help me out and clarify it for me. And it was not even 2-3 weeks that a company like Merck Pharmaceutical comes in and offers me a price for my company that I couldn't refuse. I was not planning to sell. Actually, I was training my daughters to take over my business, but the price was right. And it was very strange because in our industry, they usually don't let president just here, money and go. They have milestone. They ask the president, like, what do you forecast in 5 years or 10 years? And they pay you based on forecast. And here it is, they are giving me cash, money to exit. Everything was very unusual. And unusually good for me. And it was like 2 weeks ago I was praying and this was happening. So I basically got the picture that I just had to exit Selmar. And exit Selmar to do what? So here it is, I exited. It was very, very difficult because I was not planning. Everything happened within 3 months of them doing due diligence, evaluating the company, and us exiting. And all the employees were shocked because usually presidents don't exit that quickly. So it happened. And then the next day I said, okay, I am going to set aside part of the proceeds from my company's sales toward Assyrian causes. This is, money in the bank for Assyrian causes.
Was that something that you prayed for?
Excuse me?
Was that something you prayed for or came to you?
I prayed for guidance and what to do, and this was happening. Well, I wanted to do something because ISIS was, everybody was talking about it, and it was in that time that I felt that I needed to do something for my people in that period of time. So I talked to my husband, who is not Assyrian, and he agreed that we need to set aside part of this fund for Assyrian causes and see what to do to make a contribution. So I started a private foundation under my name, Nora Betyousef Foundation in America, where I live. And I start looking and researching where the gap is. I know there is so many organizations out there. There are so many dedicated Assyrians that wanted to make a contribution, and they do. I mean, this building, you all are, example of that. So there is also a lot of Assyrians in the United States and other part of the world that are passionate about their nation, and they, just make their own contribution the way they can. So here I am trying to see what can I do to best serve Assyrian nation. One thing from business I learned is that I need to do gap analysis and see where no energy or no effort has been invested. And it took me a year because Assyrians have done an amazing job of creating organizations. They're passionate, they're all volunteers. They bring the community together, do things for Assyrians, have schools for Assyrians, they have gatherings, social life, and the whole 9 yards, churches. After it took me a year to investigate, and I found my gap, or found a gap, and I saw that I can make my contribution. And what I learned was we have done an amazing job within our own community, with our own people. But unfortunately, we have not put that much energy to take Assyrian nation, our culture, our tradition, our beautiful history outside our community. People of the world don't know Assyrians the way Assyrians deserve to be known. So I felt like this is the gap I was looking for, and I want to put energy into this. My private foundation, we start looking, and I had a group of very smart people that I was talking to as a board and as advisors, and we decided that we are going to invest in Assyrian studies and create an Assyrian studies program in a prestigious school, a school that teaches smart students that will one day graduate and will go out in the world, and they will teach people of the world what they learn by going through the Assyrian Studies program. So after evaluating all the prestigious universities that we can think of, we decided to invest and start an Assyrian Studies program in University of California in Berkeley. I don't know if you have heard of UC Berkeley, they call it. But it's an amazing school. It's only an hour away from my house, so I felt like, it's close enough that I can oversee and see what they do and stuff. And they also had a Department of Near Eastern Studies. They were very, very strong in ancient Assyrian studies, but nothing of Christian AD period, medieval period, and modern. They were even reading cuneiform tablets and the whole 9 yards. So the ancient was very much covered by university. And when I start talking to them, we decided that we want to bring medieval and modern Assyrian studies to UC Berkeley. So, and teach Assyrian studies diachronically, from ancient all the way to modern. And honestly, the dean of the department says, so how do you know you're Assyrian and you're related to ancient Assyrian? I said, oh, another person is asking me this question, because that's what I mean. Even academia has a hard time knowing that we exist. If academia that researches ancient Assyrians don't know we exist, we really have not been on world's radar screen, basically. So, and of course, we have history, we have language. Our language is very unique, and we speak it, we read and write, and we have traditions and stuff like that. So I basically was telling him, and we of course have scholars that have gone to amazing training that were behind me with Assyrian Studies program. To make the long story short, we basically started the Assyrian Studies program in UC Berkeley. One of the things that it was in the contract was that modern Assyrian language is going to be taught in Assyrian Studies that required an Assyrian professor. UC Berkeley, I don't know if you are familiar with starting a program in universities, but when a donor like me donates, after writing a contract, like what I want this program to do, we sign it, they sign it, and then we make a donation. From there on, it is out of our control. It is all university, what they want to do with the donation. And, you know, I don't blame them because, you know, I cannot go hire a professor for UC Berkeley. UC Berkeley has to hire a professor for their university. So they ended up with 3 candidates, one of them being Assyrian, Dr. Alda Benjamin, and the second one was a professor from their own department, and the third one was a professor from France. And to my surprise, they hired the professor from France that couldn't even speak Assyrian language. That was part of the contract to teach. So I basically insisted that they either comply with the contract or, you know, I'm not gonna follow up with them. And they ended up hiring Dr. Alda Benjamin as well. And I said, you're not gonna do this to Alda Benjamin, hiring her as a second choice, so put her in history department. And I don't know if you're familiar with UC Berkeley, it has the best history department in the world. So, you know, that's the opportunity that I kind of created for Dr. Alda Benjamin, and she was ecstatic. She was hired, and she was amazing. And so you probably can learn more about her contribution at UC Berkeley later on. But one of the things that was part of the contract with UC Berkeley as well was that we are going to have a yearly symposium or seminar over a weekend where we are going to also discuss Assyrian culture, tradition, art, and we are going to invite scholars from all over to come and see that. And of course, I agreed to that because I had to at that time. And then realized that we don't have the art that meet UC Berkeley standard in our community. To the level they wanted, to the amount of art they wanted. We have done a lot of stuff within our own community. We have festivals where our children dance, but these are not professional dancers that UC Berkeley expect from Assyrians to show to scholars that come to these symposium. And these symposium were not for public. These symposium were for professors. If it was dance, it was a symposium for, or classes or demonstration to professors of dance. People that document these things and write about them and teach them. If it was singing, if it was our instruments, like qanun, like oud, this and that, we needed artists that were formally trained and professional, where they made art their job. And they were well known in their, for their skill set. And people that if we bring and put in front of scholars to document what they see and hear, it represents the best of the Assyrian nation. That's the time I realized we needed another organization that is art focused. That's how Assyrian Art Institute was created. Assyrian Art Institute is not part of my private foundation. My private foundation is focused on Assyrian studies and academia. And Assyrian Art Institute is a public, non-profit organization of the United States. and global, wherever Assyrians are. So Assyrian Art Institute was started, and the reason we made it a nonprofit organization was we had ambitions for Assyrian Art Institute to create something that did not exist. I didn't know, and still don't know, that many, honestly don't know, yeah. Like a group of professional dancers, Assyrian dancers, that do that for living. That's what I mean by professional. Usually when you have professionals, they don't work, their job is to do art. And they are usually formally trained, so they know in school, they learn what is the standard of global audience expectation. What is the international standard of art? If you're not schooled or somehow have not been in programs that you are exposed to that, it's hard to tell that standard. And I simply couldn't put anybody that doesn't understand that in front of scholars and call that Assyrian art, where it is going to be documented and is going to be taught to some of the smartest people on earth. So that is where, that basically was the mission of AAI, or Assyrian Art Institute, was to identify professional, formally trained, talented Assyrian artists that dedicated themselves to Assyrian art, or to art. And then they can learn Assyrian art through interaction with scholars. So that's where we started. It was, as you can imagine, it was a big task, because we have done an amazing job within our own community. We have festival, we have dancers, we have singers, we have artists, this and that, and we love them. I love them myself, and the music is great, speaks to our heart, all of us, but what we wanted to do was different. It had to be scholarly, academic. So that basically forced us to expand our community, to bring amazing Assyrian artists that are professional, that they thought they don't have a place in Assyrian community, back into our community. I feel that this is one of the biggest accomplishments of Assyrian Art Institute, is bringing Assyrians back into the community. So we basically started with different groups. We started by a choir, Assyrian women choir. I don't know if you have heard about it or not, but your own, Lolita Emanuel is an impressive young lady on the piano. And she's the pianist of the choir. And she came, and plus we found a singer from Ukraine, singer in England, singer in France, singer in New York, Chicago, Canada. We were looking for these formally trained professional singers, and you're next, to come to California and basically to create this choir. And we were very, very fortunate, because in our community, we don't have a choir conductor that is formally trained until now. Dr. Eve Sada has a PhD in choir conducting, and I am very, very proud to say that she is part of Assyrian Women Choir. But at that time, she was still in school when we started, and we were fortunate that I had a friendship with a ex-choir conductor and current choir judge, international judge. Her name is Dr. Charlene Archibald, who was the first choir conductor with PhD, first woman choir conductor with PhD in the whole world. And she actually was living few doors down, and so we were neighbors, and I told her about my mission with the Assyrian Art Institute, and she is elder, she's in her 80, and I turned around, I said, Charlene, would you help me create a choir for Assyrians? And she said, I don't do choir conducting anymore, I'm a judge. Charlene Archibald is one of the 3 judges that judges if Cambridge King's Choir is better than the choir in Vienna or choir in somewhere else. I mean, she is the top of the line. And she said, you want me to do choir conducting? I said, please, please, we need you. She said, okay, I'll just do it for 1 round, and from there on, you need to take over. I said, okay, just 1 round. So we basically brought the girls together, and these are all professionals. They start talking their own music language that I was not trained. And by the way, I was in Nebu Isabeh's choir, and I was his soloist. I was trained in voice by Nebu Isabeh. But when these girls came in, and of course I was not a professional when we were singing, when these girls that are schooled in vocal with minimum of master's degree in vocal came together under Dr. Charlene Archibald, in 1 hour they performed the same quality that poor Nebu Isabeh was trying to get out of us in 1 year, in 1 hour, because they were professional. Anyway, so they came in and they just mesmerized everybody. Perfect pitch, perfect, and of course, perfect conductor. Conductor plays a major role, and we were just blessed. Our Assyrian nation was blessed to have her at her age, at her status, to come and just conduct. And the girls, these professionals from all over the world, they came because of her. They would not come, these professionals, under somebody that just think that they can conduct. And we have, there's nothing wrong. We have churches that need choir, and choir conductors are not PhDs or stuff like that, but in our purpose, for academic purpose, we couldn't have anybody less than her at that time. So Charlene came and the girls sang, and I think they mesmerized everybody. For first time, we had a professional choir that we are proud of. So this is just one example of what we have done at Assyrian Art Institute. Now these girls can go anywhere, and basically be equal, and maybe in most part even better than a lot of choirs on the international level. I don't know if you have heard their Christmas album that they just put on iTunes. Has any of you known about Assyrian Women Choir?
Yes.
Okay. Well, Christmas is coming, and their album is on iTunes. Joy of Christmas by Assyrian women. I personally listen to that music year-round because it's mesmerizing. Really, for me, it is amazing. And I hear a lot of good music too. So that is one example. Another example was creating Assyrian Children's Choir. Have you heard of Assyrian Children's Choir? No. You guys need to check out your community. Assyrian Children's Choir is managed by Sweeney Betyousef. Sweeney has a master's degree in composition. She's the music writer. And amazing. She is daughter of a clergyman, in church. So she has conducted choirs, adult choir, but not children. But under Charlene and her guidance, she has learned how to manage children's choir for us now. These children, there are Assyrian children, are all musicians. From the time they were little, they have been in music. They at least play piano, they play flute, they play violin, they play all kinds of instruments. They're all hand-picked. They have been auditioned, hand-picked by Sweeney herself. And I encourage you to go on YouTube and just type up Assyrian Children's Choir, and you will be mesmerized by them. And you'll be proud that children from age 6 to 14, 15 are singing in a perfect harmony. I mean, what a blessing. Maybe I should share a couple inside things with you. Most of these children that are from everywhere, basically. We have, actually Sydney, yesterday we had dinner with one of the member of children's choir, Assyrian Children's Choir, Josh. And Josh is a very strong musician. He is in high school, but he was one of the 30 musicians, I think in Australia, that was picked and put in conservatory. So in addition to his training in, high school, schooling that he goes through, he also, these children, these 30 children that are picked by the government are focused on developing their musical capability. So Josh, an Assyrian, is one of the 30, and he is in Assyrian Children's Choir. We created children's choir during COVID, so we didn't want to bring children together, so it is digital performance. But they sing, they send us their videos, and Sweeney and somebody that she works with, they put the videos together, and I encourage you to see what they sing. I thought we are going to grow and have these children come and perform live. Two things happen. One, these children, even though their parents are Assyrian, most of them, being born and raised in diaspora, they didn't speak the language. So Sweeney has to, word by word, teach them how to pronounce Assyrian words. And you cannot find happier parents than the parents of these children. They are amazed how easily these children are pronouncing these Assyrian words when they sing. So that is very encouraging. Second, because it was and it still is a digital choir, they know their choir members are from different countries. One from Sydney, Australia, the other one from Turlock, California, the other one from Chicago, from Canada. I mean, you will see their names at the end of their video, and you will see where they're coming from. So these Assyrian children know that our community exists in different parts of the world. They're connected. They know each other. They sing on the same video together, and they interact with each other. So we decided to continue that. So these children know that they have friends in different parts of the world. So that's another thing that we have done. We are very proud of. Yes.
Sorry to interrupt you, but before we come as a second important part of the Gilgamesh opera, actually, بيخ إن ناشي اتلو بقارة بقرة لو هم زملخ so far فتعمل شيء بقارة إجا اتلو قن هيج بقارة يقطع نورا
رابع خدي اختي تتهرو أستراليا ومتفاقة بيا وخبرانخ يعني they're amazing with مرقالا إديو بينخش متخنخك ممديانة هل بتقو أستراليا قم خكمت شنة أنا artist go أستراليا لتوالون بس funding لو مصايا مزيدي ولا أو خوبي و talent توالون وخوبد لخ لو رابع هيوري إنا قرش لرابع دانا هل قد خكمة شوري تخمونها أنا ناشا أنو قايلة قارك تكبرخنون قارك مزيد داخلة talent دي وشوريني خاني خكمة بهيوري هدي artist go أستراليا بشينوير spy من قامته أي خايبة ينامرن أي أمني خينا هدي أعتقد دتم تيخي خا institution artist ومرخ أي institution هالبشر آخرون رابع جورنا وجبارنا ورابع spy شو لتنشقيل جو يدوخن سبب أختي المرخ أطرح أستراليا ومصايا تكبوري artist ديه دتن أخدوخن شوري أو شورا سو تشابه الله خن اختي أمري إنه بقاري موديوا Mary what chaired to the studies was at to a fund أي organization إلى non-profit داخل تكبرت دني ناشط إلى بلاخة داخل ميكنا بتاعي زوزة أرخد حكمة ين private companies ين investors أخجاية بقاري وإنا شاب الله خراب شو لصباي amazing.
أبي تباسين كبكرهن fund دني ميكا بتاعي دوزا بيتول مني private foundation دي كت من UC Berkeley بالخانبة أنا fund بعدهم that's a private foundation هجمني يعني كم أنا يابان يبلتن لا يابان لا يبلتن إلى Assyrian Art Institute إلى a non-profit public organization أهجو أمريكا إلى 30% زوزو جاري آتي من public خرطة مني the rest قد إلى 2/3 أين كمسا من ديان أويا من board of directors أويا من ناشا قد associated إنا ب organization كمسا أويا إنا in a 1/3 Latia min public, then it's not a public organization. Public organization you America, Garrick always support me to be public. Adi public mina in a national Lena part of the organization. Lena volunteer, Lena part of board of directors, Little association, in a public at by شولانن بغزاينا وباي support أولينا. يوم ده كمسة أويا grants that إحنا من government بشكاله قد أني هايريلان.
Public money, taxpayers or donations or sponsorships.
Public organization. Public America إلى public America إلى little شولا مايلة. Actually not associated with the organization. Like I am for an Assyrian Art Institute, I'm not public.
Okay.
Board of Director, Lela public. In Anna Zuiza Metan, you Assyrian Art Organization, 30% من public liability يعني جو حاكمة يرخي switch دويا private foundation. قاموا public organization قد من دي لا important لا for several reasons. One, in private avid, there is no grant funding. Grant lite. Adi boyag Gilgamesh akhna zarzakh lakat khadanem epic opera doya hiç khanash lit khat khazuzmet gabo. So akhna garik amsa a freedom avilan azak apply oda grant min government shakla kat support oda ashura. Second, eaten donors that buy donate odi in a buy donation or tax deductible. So your companies eaten that sponsor by odi by enzuizet yavena amsim taxe mabsarichun, they deserve that. They are investing in art organization that in a non-profit. So Assyrian Art Institute in Yarek Oyava a non-profit, Ketanila 501c3, get comply with that 30% and the rest from anywhere.
So what I'm hearing is the public
Yes.
part
Hey.
falls under, it's funded basically by donations and sponsorship.
Yes.
Because when the sponsorship deal بتاع الأخون أنا مقنعة big businesses in our company and our individuals.
Exactly.
Our wealthy individual where I would donate,
Yeah.
it's tax deductible at the end of the day. So
Yeah.
that's how you fund the 30%, correct?
Yes, correct.
إحنا أخنوخن دي تنويدو found.
Correct.
شانو قانون الأستراليا إحنا من دي.
أتلوخن?
Yeah. Tax
Well,
deductible.
it's fair enough because if it's a public organization, so public needs to want it.
Yeah.
But in public wants it, you will be an organization. If public doesn't want you, you don't need to be.
Yeah, okay.
Because it costs the government a lot. In taxes قد كم صار شكل لا بشكله قد ناشط قد donate بعدنا. So yeah, Assyrian Art Institute كنت you can imagine chatuni و ناشئاتی و که new organization زوزیه ویوه زوزی که برشنا موینا و کم سیتون خامندی اودیتون یا اقی هم زومتون أنا بخشابن شوريلون ناش بوج بدواخ بوج جنرس ويا يمد غزيلون شولانن خزيلون. That's biblical. Actually, people judge things. Yeah.
So strategy dia our institution ila when you're marketing the organization the art and the show statement to you highly qualified musicians and artists ومتويد خاشولا رابع أكاديمي كل أكاديمي إلنا إدينا بدأ شولا marketing دي إلى you're luring the sponsorships because people who love art would love to sponsor something, even Assyrians and non-Assyrians, correct?
Yes, correct.
So our من دي دي خماك دي تاخذ لك شوية اختي دو أطراية بتاخذ بزودة كشلة يعني آتم ترى سبرم خاكي يا ولد خاشولة شافيرة وجموية artists أطراية من كل الجبال الدنيا جموية مخزوية خامدي professional شافيرة بجراشت audience قدينا Assyrians and non-Assyrians وما تشوخ sponsors قد ماس قد continue all your organization ديخ وأوي بتاعي that 30%. Very clever strategy بس نجاح.
Non-Assyrians قد بدواخنا قد Actually, we started by a lot of my friends. قد أني قاتل مربتهم وزيمون مبسمون بأرتديان وتيلون. Now they are, very much supportive of Assyrian Art Institute. And I will tell you why. But كنت رابط زوجي بتاعي من non-Assyrian. 50-50 مع رابط بتاعي. I was not expecting non-Assyrians to invest in Assyrian art. Even Assyrians, we exist. بعد خیلی لازمی بود مگریشخ بارم تنخ و explain odach و Dr. Charlene Archibald uchte شمو یوربا قد هم این گانو رابا attention ویلا on that choir. تریمانو مکم عادی زیری یوکا article بازو کتیبنا باز Assyrian women بکتیبنا article میکنه. So, and whoever wants to read it, just let me know, I will forward it to you. إلى الخناش بايسواينا قد ناش خزي مايبغ مو بعد بوين بود دكتور أرشبك تين قد عين تيلا كخاشي تكديان هايرا يخ خاجاه هايرا خرطمرا Nora, maybe next year we need to do this. Mary, you said you're only going to do it once. And you're young. Mara, no. You guys have an art that nobody knows about. And I want to help you to bring that art in a correct way on the world stage. I have encouragement.
Thank you.
Happy to meet you.
اللي ترشوا على رابع كريه بقولنا قضيه لشان عاشوراي وكان لشان انجليزاي قد مبارميلا كلنا شيء شو على قامة يجو دستة زمارة مشي عطورياتا يعني عاشوراياتا ودستة زمارة شورة عاشوراي كما هدامت له قدنا تري دستة زمارة وسؤالي تريانا إلى أن تري دسياتة زمارة مشو تبلا مشو كلا جو جو خا كومبيتيشن مرايا جو خا أثرا وأني لسندانس نيدو تلا قدنا هدام قد أزيد جو خا أثرا مشو تبي جو خا تمرح كل خانة كل مغذاء جو خا مرايا. So how many members do we have in these two choirs? And do you support them to travel to other countries and participate in some competitions, for example?
Yeah, I appreciate the question. The question was, would these two choirs go for a choir competition? One thing, AI, Assyrian Art Institute, was established in 2017. And the first concert with Assyrian women was in 2018, and the children's choir was in 2020 or 2021. When you're dealing with a perfectionist like me, that quality comes before anything, before competition, before going on the stage. If they're not perfect, they're not going to go on the stage, because it's Assyrian reputation in the world. This is not our community that is kind and passionate about their people. This is people that don't know us. We are responsible to keep the reputation of our ancestors. They gave us something, we have their genes, we have the same capability, so we better act like they did. So that is the goal. We are taking step by step toward all that you are explaining. The girls came together, they had to bond, they're coming from different part of the world, they're not community choirs. Now they're singing together. The first step they did take is to create a Christmas album. I want to ask you, it's $14.99, I think, that's how much the album is sold. Would you please buy their album for Christmas? I am sure you're going to listen to that album year-round, because it's beautiful. It's simply beautiful. These are the things that is going to encourage them. First, they have concerts, then they have an album, then they're going to dare to go out and compete with other choirs. especially when they have the choir judge that knows them intimately, is going to at least give them tips what to do. Dr. Charlene doesn't think it's time yet for competition, but it's pretty close. We tried to have Assyrian men choir, but men didn't come together. Women, they are beautiful. They're passionate, they're, I know. Some people are asking, well, we're daughters of Shamir and Queen, so, what do you expect?
My first question was how many members are in each of these choirs?
In Assyrian Women Choir, we have 20. And in Assyrian Children's Choir, we are up to 35. Yes. Children's Choir is both men and female and male. And but women's choir, we are just women at this stage, and men are to follow.
أنت من شوتا بوتان بقاري قالوا خن إيله مارتون بيتون أوديتون هماسة جلجامش as an opera. Okay. أختم بليخت جلجامش دول بريزيدنتي ولا خا ونينوس عودة جلجامش وانين وخا من عودة قنطر مرضو تنال جلجامش إليه خا هماسة مدن خايا. It's a Middle Eastern epic. بغزاين هما شاناش جاروبنا قد أودي لأوبرا جلجامش ويسترن ملوشي لخا جلة بحكمة جلة دلينا ديو هاد يخنا ليطق جلجامش It's closer to mind قد جلجامش زميرة لراوي دان زميرة لأوبرا It's closer to mind قد جلجامش خلال دخوة دان خلال ستيك So it's Middle Eastern إلى خبر سوبا مدن خايا خا epic جروس تلقو Middle East إنا تايق زايخ musician ديان على ما نخلى ويليام دانييل على ما نخلى بورس خوفري على ما نخلى شورا ميخاليان هما شبراقنا من دنا musical skills الديانتي لفاونديشن أمتن بنيتا الله اتلان كوراتون foundation اتلان كوراتون skills that I'm very aware of غزايق صغيات إيتا قالت إيتا قتينا بيشمور يزبي برديسان قمشي خايوتا تايل خمخ ياد بيانو مرة لا يكورتون ليلة ديان لا خوني لا واصلو خيل عزيزي اخنا انشوقخ لا اوكي باتيلة بابا نساوم بنيا الله كل من دي بنيا التاوي شيكي ليه ما سخ شخ جلة نخراي كان جلة جانا ليه ما سخ اخل خلطة نخراي ما سخ ان اكلن خلطة جانا بغزان وادا هو ماصد جلجامش هاد يا رباي دون وادا هو ماصد جلجامش I'm related more to it than مخيت لا بيانو شقلت له كورتون منه ولا يوت له إيفا براتو بابي يساوي يوي بالا because أنا مدن خاين أنا أشورايت مدن خاوي اتلي خفابراتو ناتي لبته لله أنا ليلة لبته ناتي البافاروتي which is زمار اللي برشيشي ليلة درقلايوتا قد هاويلا أو تخمة زمرة variety is spice of life but أصلا وفاونديشن دي ينجاري خامخله يعني we should concentrate on music مدن خيتها قد أوريغام because this is who we are يعني هدي أنا خشتي قريلي زمرة ودلي vocal training مري قالي موي زمرت مري زمرت سورت مري زمري خزمرتها سورت بنخاف إنه برجال ورابي له رابي يورا توالي PhD هو music زمري سورت مري oh my god that's beautiful وأنا أوريدي كله ويلي خادوتها because هو ناشق مقابل لي So, وسياتي قالوخن وبربلتي منوخن إلى قد أودخل preserve Assyrian culture. أخنا Assyrian culture دي أن ترى أيضا خشتونه خلو. رابا منا لينا بالضايا دخي بلطخ ولا كالو. رابا منا ليطي مودي لما رايد ختنا أزل شاقلة كالو بيتها. رابا منا لينا بالضايا قامودي كالو يمخيا مشخل ترقم طورة تلزمريات الجانو. رابا منا لينا بالضايا اخنا يما ندخل مود مختن يمرخلو شدوله رابا منا لينا بالضايا قد اخنا كان زمرة طلاشة كان زمرة مياه جودة كان زمرة خصدة كان زمرة جنانة طامرت 100 رقم النوخن الى part of our art لليانا ديواني
The reason Litvalan Haradi because Litvalan a focused Assyrian art organization. Art diyan iba under your umranana, your organization that has nothing to do with the rubber spy organizations. Ina lena focus on art Assyrian. So adia اخنوخن اتلوخن Assyrian Art Institute. I hope كلوخن شولانم خزيتونون على يوتيوب for free. قد إيمت أنا أتم لك هم زمان يضن قد من ناشا هم زمان قد خزيانة شولانم لأنهم زمان with strangers ناشا community ديانا نينا أنا يالا بنات الأدية نينا
خطنا مخلط أشي برش أي بخار خرابة نتعايلة أو بخشان سبب هدية خا تريطلالة خبارتي بطاري هم زمان بوت قلقامش أوبرا موينا بلانس موينا مديانا رابم بخارخ بتآتي إنا بخارخ هنا بالجوابات كله
برشي عزيزة أنا خابدي بينهم زمن أخنا زمرا أطرايا باش انقراض مخ ديناصورز I tell you why please خلي مجالهم زمن بيانو مصير لي بكرة يوم مدرسة قيثارة مصير لي بكرة يوم مدرسة راوي ليلة يلياقة يوم مدرسة راوي قال يكاسد يمخ شمطلة ليليانا كان يجازت يما خاتي شمرت وليت بطلو it's a culture لكان مدرسة قدومني كهذا we have to try that ودخل هو مني valuable وطيمانة ها كهذا هو مني قال في أختنا ودخل برزيف أتي مرة خدي يوم ميوزك بأمرة أن ترى بأسرير باشا نهي تلالا مصيتا مدرسة وتشونز ديو هل هذا كل شماشا إن أوف تشون لا خسرت أجل توقي تابوت Mita Gomorrah is zealous men of tunes. We have not concentrated on this.
I didn't say that, did I?
Seriously. خا شبزامر خا تشون أو خينا بزامر خاتون خينا خا سيميتون أوف خا سكيل ليا طيلة هل هذه لنا برمية سكيل موديلة وأخنا نجوئيتها الدارة الجتاوت بربيسان الدارة الجتاوت نوري اسكندر بيت غاز كل سكيل نيرة أربعين يطلعهم على أو بياديلة حجازي لا يدي خوني ديلة كلها كان شمعنا الله قمت أتيتون هي تيتون خبياي بالسعودية. So I'm trying to say أي دولة تدبابة مساوي بيالي خامخنا.
Can I give you some good news?
مرة سوكي قمت.
Okay, please sit down.
Thank Nora, thank
Of
you so
course.
much for coming to Sydney.
Of course.
I just want to make a comment before my question. Me and all of these people here are so inspired by you. I think as you were going through your life story, it just kept getting better and better and better. And as someone who like inspires to be an entrepreneur, I was like brought to tears so many times, and it was incredible. I guess one of the things that is really important to me and a lot of people in this room is that when we're putting together projects and we're trying to build things and things that can last long term, which is an issue in our community where like we start a project and it kind of just falls off and we don't see it to fruition, and we don't see like, you know, 50 years from now, oh wow, we did this and we built it. And the way you were speaking, it was so inspiring, and your strategic foresight was incredible. So my question for you was, UC Berkeley, you guys getting into there and you doing that, incredible. And I guess one thing that's so important is that money talks, you know, and you went in there and you went in guns blazing, and it's such a incredible boss move and it's so amazing. And I guess what I want to know is, now that you've kind of invested in that project, how have you seen it? How have you seen the fruits of that, and how has it benefited our community? And you know, what's your report on that?
UC Berkeley.
Yeah.
UC Berkeley, we had challenges. One, they signed a contract, they took the money, they didn't take us seriously because they don't believe we exist. I pushed back. They brought Dr. Alda Benjamin on board, and she did a lot of good stuff. So I don't want to come here and say we don't have challenges. We do, like it's life, but challenges are not going to discourage us. Maybe that's why you're hearing all the positive things, because challenges, okay, it's part of life, and we're just going to deal with it. So we are dealing with it. A lot of the things that I research and observe in our community and the organization, we have so many needs, and we know what they are. And we have so many visions, and we know what they are. But we want to rush through these. And for somebody that is going to make quality number one, my job is to hold back the organization, and unless they're perfect, they're not going to represent Assyrians. Because I feel we owe it to our ancestors. They built a reputation for themselves, and we are their children. And if we disrespect that, we should not be in the community. So, and things are different. Things happen. You guys need to be proactive, patient, and quality-oriented. We cannot say because we haven't had something for 50 years, we're, get disappointed and discouraged. Today, we are a different nation. We are a different nation. We have organizations that we never had before. Seriously. I mean, I'm not even talking about Assyrian Art Institute. I'm talking about other organizations like Assyrian Advisors. Have you heard of Assyrian Advisors? Have you heard of other organizations that young people put together? They're just impressive. So we are a different nation today. Okay? Just talking about the Assyrian Art Institute, our nation has an institute, which means school, or organization that is focused on art, on Assyrian art, and Assyrian artists, and Assyrian community. Okay, so what you have experienced in the past is past. Let me, I think maybe it is time to start talking about Gilgamesh if I've answered your questions. Gilgamesh, her project that Congresswoman Anna issue, Tina Vila, no, the Bazo Budayatun, Congresswoman Emerkila, who retired actually in November. Chun Hina Marshinela, Basaplechtela, she deserves that. Tina Kennedy family, Tinun Kennedy, even a congressman too, Tina Shopu, you will like a congresswoman on an issue, you Kennedy Center for Performing Art. Kennedy Center, John F. Kennedy Center of Performing Art, Washington, D.C., is the most prestigious performing art organization in كل الدنيا. Congresswoman on an issue that إلى Betyousef من جيب بابو. تيلا كديان مرة كد أنا عادي even on board of trustees وبيان had program أبي Kennedy Center and she trusted us. So, what a big project, because we are just starting with choirs, we are just starting putting together professional dancers, and we speeded it up. Mama Mara, but it is required. So, Tilan study vidlan kad mu gari maghziya on Kennedy Center about our culture. Kad ham culture ديال مغزيالي هم non-Assyrians يعطي موي بغ through that و connect أودي. احنا نمسك آتخا story تانخنون كأمريكا كأكتبوا دياني لا كم interest مغزي. هسا لنا بدا احنا معي بغ. So geri khajura connect o dakhwala culture gyalan bi culture nash dunya. So the most important story, epic in history is the Epic of Gilgamesh, because it's the first written story in history. Aida bitala min nashid gyalan min bet nahr. Okay, so we did a lot of research. I'm just giving you a very snapshot. We decided that the Epic of Gilgamesh, and now we are thinking what genre we are going to choose. To make the long story short, librettist Tila, you know how complicated, I don't know, Budai about Epic of Gilgamesh, kma complicated story la, in Khajamet Enuma Elish, kat Allahna, lama zida kho Allah, asaliyat iba Gilgamesh kam tre gibanu Allah wa khagibu mindi. So Khajamet Enuma Elish sharuye, kharta brashik gyara Gilgamesh, this is the first epic. Academia Badaila, what is the first written story in human history? So at Ahad, we decided to go forward with Gilgamesh. It's a very interesting experience. Kadi chun ana hiç dana lenzita uraba nash lena khazi kha opera muja kiberia. Hamashat خیش اختیوق Marriage of Figaro, Mozart شمیاق یا Verdi's Nabucco شمیاق یا Lambo de Carmel, this and that. And كل شمیاق, these are like old Mindy, بی imishine opera نکت هلم ده بزمارینه. چون زرستت خا opera رابع چاتونیله. Gilgamesh پریشانه و Mindy, خال librettist higher vidlan قد إلى بليو سورية بليو يمون سوريتلا بابو Irishile. Actually she's an entrepreneur, إلى founder of Lyric Opera of Orange County, California. قد رابط award شكلتلا, she's a soprano زمرتها, and she's amazing. دمور خرخلة تيلا أها بندي a project شكلها as a librettist. جانو خنده بدايتهم Epic of Gilgamesh كما complicated لا تيلا زرزالة for a 2-hour live stage opera. So قاعدة احنا نلق مارو Epic of Gilgamesh مارو Gilgamesh the opera. چون لمسة unless you make a movie, a series, a long series of movie that culminated Epic Marzitli, نمسد you 3 ساعات on a live stage Epic of Gilgamesh Marzitla. So this story is called, or this performance is going to be called Gilgamesh the Opera, or Derek Sky's Gilgamesh. So Ayatila libretto Tivala. After that, it's time to hire a music composer. Vitala Lacha, second generation, Yimo Vitala, Nanuto Vitala et Hakari, Titala Horta Yimodaivi in Connecticut, Adi is a 3rd generation American in a Dimit Suraiga or a Pelio Suretla. So Tivala Kuligu English, Kant Kuligari Sharetla Kuligu English. خارطة تحملت مند من يانو بايد translate أوديتلون كل خدشو whatever. Kibana, now is time to pick a music composer after libretto is written. We advertised it in so many places that were composer for this epic opera, brand new opera. To make the long story short, 85 composers from all over the world, they contacted us. They formally applied with their samples, with whatever she asked for. And we narrowed that down to 4, and then we picked the current composer, music composer. خدن من أرپاگنای ایوا سورة اینه اخچی خاص سورة composer applied it. Out of 85 people, 1. Of the أغنمويلان in the part of the finalists, إنه لابيلة قد compete with the composer we have picked. Our composer قد pick we're very proud to say that he is a 2024 Grammy nominated composer. His name is Derek Sky. Derek is extremely sensitive toward authenticity. He works with Persians, Iranians, he works with Arabs, he's an ethnomusicologist, and very sensitive. So we hired him. He said, for 1 year, I need to research Assyrian culture. And what did he need? He needed cultural advisors. So my job was to find Assyrian cultural advisors to put around him so he can learn, him and Diana, the librettist, they can learn more about Assyrian culture so they can implement authenticity in this production. So right now we have Dr. Ephraim Yildiz as a cultural advisor. We have Dr. Yves Sada. We have Wilfred Bet-Alkhas. I don't know if you know these people. I hope you do. And we recently have talked to Tony Hushaba to join us with the experience that he has gained. And Lolita Emmanuel has been amazing. She is trying to finish up her PhD, so she cannot commit to be there when they need her because she needs to finish her PhD. That's the priority for all of us. So, but when she answers, she writes a book. So even though she is not committing, but she puts more energy into what she does, that is just really impressive. To make the long story short, we are putting a lot of qualified Assyrians around our important people, which is librettist and music composer, to start with. Rabe is definitely, Rabe, Liliana, these are all the music that are going to be in that Gilgamesh. Actually, we just saw a Gilgamesh production here in Sydney, Australia. I don't know if you guys saw it, but an Australian composer created it. And honestly, I didn't see anything Assyrian or Mesopotamian about that production. Music was not, costume were not, stage was not. My sister, she slept through most of it. My brother-in-law, who's a musician, he's an amazing piano player, he said I couldn't stand it and he left in the middle of it. But I stayed because I wanted to see it throughout, and even this, they didn't stay true to the story. So Ninus, I sympathize with you. And I told Ninus Emmanuel that ours are going to be so different. The music that they were playing in Australian Gilgamesh, we are calling it, it was all, modern, avant-garde, just interesting to a lot of people. Even the story was twisted. It was not the story we know about Gilgamesh. There were moments of Gilgamesh, but not 100%. Give me 1 second. And then, to make the long story short, ours is going to have qanun, ours is going to have oud, ours is going to have zurna, davula. Actually, the composer, after his research, he found out that zurna davula is very important to us. But you cannot implement zurna in an orchestra without taking over. So he digitally created a zurna for our people. And he created so he can lower that thing so it blends with the orchestra and it shows itself where it needs to show itself. And he's taking that zurna to Dr. Eve Sada in Harvard, that's where she is, for her to approve. If she doesn't approve it, she doesn't approve it. But that is what I am talking to you about, that we have qualified Assyrian advisors around these people, but these people are also connecting our art to today's audience. So if Derek Sky says Zurna is too loud, and he is putting energy to create that device and take it to our own Assyrian Eve Sada, and she agrees, case is closed. It is going to be implemented. So it is going to be that type of a production. What is the purpose of our Gilgamesh? Why are we doing Gilgamesh? Do you know what kind of effort it is? Not too many people do brand new opera, especially of this complication. The opera that we saw of Gilgamesh, they had 5 singers. 5. We have 71 cast members to meet the Gilgamesh true intent. So not only we are going to have classical music, we are going to mix it with our own traditional instruments and music. Right now, Diana, who is actually a very famous soprano singer, at least in US, she is going with Derek to Eve Sada to practice. Is it going to be an operatic singing? Or is it going to be nasal, more Middle Eastern, or somewhere in between? This is going to be all evaluated by the only PhD choir conductor of this community, this Assyrian nation. Ask her question.
بوقاري نورا ايوه يعني بوقاري نورا ايوه مصيت مضيتلون بود ما ساتا budget شورة يورا كمالي كما بتهاوي أختي كريائيد كمالي.
Of course, I have a little shy of $1 million production. This is a serious work of art because we cannot do less than that and make our ancestors proud. We cannot do. We cannot shortcut. We cannot make it cheap. What we saw was a low budget Gilgamesh that was not even Gilgamesh. Thank God, I don't think that many people would know who Gilgamesh is just by watching that opera. They just did an artistic work, and I appreciate that. These are non-Assyrian artists wanted to do something, fine. But our job and our duty is to put our best foot forward or not to put it forward.
I believe that will be a record for an Assyrian art project.
It is a 5-year project. We are actually in.
Financially, we never heard about that, like $1 million project in Assyrian art.
Well, when you plan ahead, we plan on fundraising. We plan to have sponsors. We are applying. We have 2 grant writers. One is Dr. Mike Winger, who is an Assyriologist that is married to Ramina, his wife, a doctor. He has 3 children, half Assyrian, and he said, I want to help Assyrians and my kids to know their culture and their community. So he, a PhD, a professor, is writing grants for Gilgamesh. And also Josephine Atisha, I don't know if you know her, she's a professional Assyrian professional grant writer that is applying for grants. Because this is a big project, and we have faith that we are gonna be able to fund it. Because we are doing the first fundraising in January, and already we have Assyrian donors that want to see this succeed.
ياخذ نورا بخبرات شي بقرنا يعني بكدرا بيطي داخل ناشديا يطي بزدودا بودا قلقامش بالخانة دي progression اي كلام طايا اي جو اتلخن ويب سايت already جو اوبساد يوخن همزومتون خميني كريم.
Of course. Social media, website, in Azitun Assyrian Art Institute, we just announced the production of this opera after 2 years of working on it, because in order for us to get a venue, by a reputable venue, a respectful venue, not what we saw, here in Sydney, but one that has a complicated stage and the whole 9 yards, we had to have a libretto already approved and the music composer picked and sample of the music submitted. Actually, they wanted technical specifications on the lighting, this and that, but our librettist has very strong connection, and they are patient with us. They know we are going to do it, but they gave us a date. And I thought, if we don't have a date of March 28, 2026, which is Assyrian New Year, then nobody's going to take us serious if we announce it. So we waited for all these things to happen, get a date, and announce that this opera is in process. Of course.
Because we have other things to do for you.
Okay. So anyway, it is going to be all you described. I think you are going to be pleasantly surprised, Linus, that this is going to be different from what you... it's going to be actually what you were saying. That should be...
Nora, $5 million متوية في الدرداش والله. شو اللي تشوفوا متويتون؟ أنا برعياني أول صورة ورابة بشيطة. وماصل جلجامش جبريتا كله إلى شرايا وشولامة. It's the beginning and the end.
Yeah.
إلى ملحمة الخلود. إلى epic of mortality. أنا شتي لبلاخة أو برسوبين إيه خمتاتورتين وعلي ماشوراتي لبلاخة الجلجامش إلا هو ماصد جلجامش عاصر وشاتي لخمره لبلطة أو هو ماصد جلجامش راب we are underestimating it زي مشي خايو تبني ترى الله توديات تبريتا بنينا الله انقارخ لن ترسر له خيات هلم إيتن ناشا بخبار الجراخ هلم إيتن expectation قد إيتن لوخ خينة بلطي أخنا هلا دي ترسل لوخنا مطي الله انقارخ لما هو ماصد جلجامش أنا بيجي خمشيجي قريون هل هذه قاربنا أي دخل ورطة مني do you know what I mean إلى إبك رابا أمقتا ورابا يقرطا
إلى والقادر معرفة زرس الليبريتو رابا شاتويبا وتوني شاب جامعة الملكة رابا ناش بينا شلو دي ولنا بشر إيمت قريال الليبريتو هرت خبيشة معتقد مجرد احنا simplify video for a live stage. احنا يجري series درزه قد كل جانو اني ماريتون جابو ابي يوم جري simplify او داخل قد امسخ قطري صوت مغزيق لكناش. So it is a قاد لك مارو. It's not epic of Gilgamesh because there are a lot of stuff that are not in the production because it cannot exist on a live stage. But what exists on the live stage is the main message of the story, which is the legacy of Gilgamesh made him immortal. Aha la akhchi kadian surai anan qetla yatakhla ke kul dunya anan qetla rabanash buzdaina meti lena takhmune kad omindid bishwaq od min ganuch le shabaq ad meti u ahaba. That is the message kad nash dunya galiyati. Lela akhchi community ganan akhchi ganan yatakhmu vadakhmu lakvada. Aha bayakh connect or with people of the world. We need to be part of the community of the world. So our message at Gilgamesh appeals to everybody. Especially, yes. Exactly. Gilgamesh adi bar arba el pishine اخنا تازه به opera بازو زرزخ بخشابتون میتده؟ No. حالا libretto قد كتبتو له أهلا همزمتو that through our legacy we want to fight for Assyrians immortality. So through Gilgamesh, we want to fight for Assyrians' immortality.
Nora, is it possible that I can ask you, yes. بيموت لشانة بيشا مقروضة.
Lishana da, we have linguists like Dr. Yaldis, and they are going to decide what is going to be the best Lishana. So far, unless, again, cultural advisors advise us differently, but American production, Allah kad itlan ene adi hamzumi bilishan ganan. Adi gulishan ganan. Is it going to be Assyrian, modern Assyrian language kadachlan hamzume, or Akkadian? That's another question. So these are the.
What's the point to sing in Akkadian when nobody understands it?
Subtitles normally the opera.
Your opera, first, nobody understands what people say. You have to have subtitles. In a minute, God's bush mysterious, Avi bush true to our culture. So, تخمونه قد آمن دي أو دخله. إن من أمريكا باكرة تاني خب إنجليز متيمون لكن subtitle إحنا برمية. For the authenticity, idea would it be Assyrian language that إحنا نادي همزومه, or is going to be Akkadian that Gilgamesh or Allah deadlana from Zimena. Either way, we have to have subtitles. So adi imne bzemrilat chorus of God tavilan, Allah tavilan, and it is under consideration. Yes.
احكي باي البقرة يعني بروتوكول مو دي مخروبة من أطراف أستراليا مو مخروبة مسج مطير مو بايت منا بمشيتوت
من ديوخون بيان كأمانا respect عبيلوخون ويطيتون أخشي يطيتون ماينا وموت شولانة بيدنا چون أمانا they don't expect more than that بدايتهم أمانا بيعاتي on stage بيخزينا. I'll give you one example. Assyrian women in 2018 تازا شوريلان بتخارن شوشانة تيتبا من Ukraine عايتي لك خيشة فتورلك قد اتفالت اسشي خمشال بالسوراي اخشي الشبي خمشال جانايتيبا قدني بناته خرط شوشانة مرة اخنا قالي اقاصر منتخوالك non-Assyrian چون اني بوش قديم appreciate دودي أنا ليه بيان يالن بناتن قد خدخة talented دينا خط شابير بزمان خط شابير perform بعدنا احنا قلنا يعطيتون عيال البسرشن جاش كان يعطيتون سيدني أستراليا Australian children's choir actually type فودو لقي يوتيوب شميمونو قد إن خايمة جاش غزيلو خون تاني أخلا قد يوم بداية والله أدخل زحمة قريشة زميرة چون أنا باشم غمان ديان آمدي they're artists باي exhibit أودي باي مغزي كما talent إتلون so من ديوخون بطلابن قد كشكيتون الشولانة ويعطيتون بازي شمي يعطيتون that's all what a big first step forward
اوكي شاون شوف شيء لا ما يميز اختي ترشم معي متخرة مدخول يقضى نورا خائي وتوني خوشانا الى يودا ان بلاير توني خوشانا قد ما شني يعني شو شني ويله the artistic director or the brain the creativity at the Mesopotamian night girl America يعني تيتون خزي Mesopotamian night girl America overall it ناشلة إلى خامن دي brilliant زوتا وام so glad that إلى part of that project اليوم توني خشابة ويا لحين تلخص سيدني همزوم إلى بك ربطهم إلى برونت وإلى برونت روبن أزادوتا باندت أزادوتا إجا برونت دي
that's the sociology
إجا هاي الخدمة نهار هدية
بس خشاوي إنه يتوثخ فيديو بغزيثة منهارتا بنو أرخاذة بش بصخ وقت أخني يطخ ايكت مطيثة متلف اللي بعد منطية لقالن يعني خهايلايز توث اللابتوب مغزخ ولا وهمزمت جاوا بيشتوا مطيثة مسج دي خلن خيا جانخ خيا ومتاطوريت عزيزتا
actually احنا اتلن خان write up all the Gilgamesh انا كميوكرانيوس إمانويل شودرتون إن كنت بيله بازوقاره please كدي تاني مون أنا كدي يقوم forward دودنا كل budget تاملا مجر fundraising دودا إذا مو بعد مولك بعد ماينة key players قامو زاروزو مارون strategic plan كopera of Gilgamesh
تدخل خرابة بسمته مهنيانته في نورا و قلت بوقوري كل خندق كم بين الخامني جزوتها ناشط قبل الأخا ناشط من الميرقات هي هاي بسي مرابش شو تفوت أطرة استرليتها قم يولي إيه أزدوتها خيروتها قد مرونينوس بروش معني بيتاتي لم تيلو خا خيلين خشمين خمن دي أبن عاني لمرخوض آها إنما إحنا يوخ كل من دي ناصحت أودخ وقصة شابرتا وهول شابرتا وبزي هاي بسيمة مانجمنت تا هول إنا لا تشدلي هيش خامن شو الآسي سب ليه بين شدنوا أبوا لا تشدلي هو بشاير وبشاير لا أختي ما تشدلي خورواتي I am privileged يوين جديدة يوين lucky قد بكلاين لخا وبغزاين أني برسوبة proudly كمان إنا خورواتي إنا خا the elite من عليمو تاو من ناجدين إتلان لخا I'm so proud قد إتلان أتخا أنا برسوبة أتخا خورواتي دم بدايو إنا إتن طلا شوكاني يعني داشني قد باشي مقرو وقعته خدمي لنا ticket around the world you don't need that أختي قمت إلى خارة من شرطة أطورة الطبيعة قاتوهون
إلى بالخانة اللي يقولوا سبحان الله خير ويسبتوا لا بس ما فيديو له خابص لقاتن وكاسبه تشميت ولا okay so أنا إخوان أختي كل شميت في خميو we're very proud قد خامنة يوخلقات
عرفتم رابا باسي
وهذا same time أوبن إلى history شو تفوت خمسينة هنا وهذا الفلقة community بسيدني داخل وأن خمسينة خاص so إلى خبري interesting book قد جتها person جتها يوم هو يخشى كويس لا هاي ولا في مرشد القرية وين بس we proud
مري أخوني وخوري لويس بطرس إلى قرصة أنا قيمتي وزير قيمتي جمش ومري قال إتن قيمت الكورج جو همبوش بارك وإتلي قيمت ربان هرمس ومرتو معه
رابين مرسيمون
رابيش تناب رابين مرسيمون اللي خان شواني أما أنا هموني ويدي
لماسو
شيدو لماسو هي تنكر كزيادة مزيادة جا دزوتا كم أربعين معنا ماري لويس to be honest with you هاي خيشة مباحي يعني to be honest with you إنه ما رأيك يبقى من لويس بخلط لي أنا خايفة نورا تيتا لتخزق ومانا أتخذ ومانا وعن مشي هم دلنا إجا خرطم خيرتين فمرنين وزمري أين أنا مخوبا مقروما قالوا خشوكانا ليه مصن أولي خانة دي خاتا تاب سكولتر ليه مصن أخش أنا إتي مليانة إطلابا بريسنا إجا لويس ما فقط لخم بس مالو مقروط لا شوكانا دي خاتا
رابس
Thank you. And as the Rabban Umran because the Rabban Yura portrait is Papa Yerke with Allah ولا اعتقد الدين وقع سوريا أكثر وقع سريانية وقع قتيل قاي كله وإتلك دمسيتا رابا يورتا صيام يرشان شكله أنا جبت اليوم قمايا وإجت شورين خايت لي فوق خروات ومن الأول بتاعي أنا يقرتها نورا أنا شمين بأسود داين وبالخنانو مروي مقروبا خا president قاتو أنا همزومن honestly شاري روتا همزومن 10 days أدوار 10 days أتخمن دي مرة جرشنا خامين دي بين مقروبا قاتو خا artistic من دي قتلاخ منه جا تسك من دي إلى لخا أدورم بسمع له فاقد أختي بين منك أتلت الشوفة قد من طامة خزت لها سبب جارك هاو dimensional thing
أنا كمصرنا بدور صرنا بس بدور شميرا ملكت شميرا وقائم هدية إلى نورا وإذا خير صورة بالدوم دي رأسنا قد غزيلي بالخنانخ وهيورك أو جروبنا قد منطل أول مسج قالخ فبهيوين قد قبلت لها داشنا منن وأنا كتين هدية بهذا شتاسة لماسو أسوسيشن آرت شارعته بهذا قلت لي لويس اللي منن قلت الرابع علي أنتيخ من مصيانة قد بايخ أخني قد مرزخ قلت للخبوسامة قد بلخي قوم تاطوري واتي هي رنت قدرنا من ديالي أنا رابن appreciate قال وبهيوين قد قبلت له ودشنا منها فقلت
خير الله.
واو